The baby monitor caught it first, a faint growl, then a soft thump in the dark. Toby, the family's young German shepherd, stood guard again. The parents thought he was being restless. But that night, when they finally walked into the room, they realized he'd been protecting their baby all along. Before we start, make sure to hit like and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. Emma and Jake were new parents, still learning the rhythm of sleepless nights and soft lullabies. Their home was small but filled with warmth, the kind that comes from tiny giggles and scattered toys. A few weeks earlier, they'd brought home a German shepherd puppy named Toby. Barely 3 months old, clumsy and curious about everything. From the very first day, Toby seemed drawn to their baby girl, Lily. He'd follow her every sound, wagging his tail when she laughed, curling up beside her crib when she slept. Sometimes Emma would find him staring at Lily with gentle eyes as if guarding her dreams. Life felt peaceful, perfect even. A young family wrapped in love, laughter, and the innocent joy of new beginnings. None of them could have imagined what lay ahead. It started a few nights later. Emma noticed that Toby refused to leave Lily's room after bedtime. No matter how many times she called, he'd stay planted near the crib, ears perked, eyes fixed on something unseen. When Jake tried to lift him out, Toby let out a soft warning growl, not out of anger but out of pure determination. At first, they laughed it off. "He's just being protective," Emma said, smiling as Toby curled up on the floor, tail gently thumping. But night after night, the same thing happened. Toby wouldn't eat, wouldn't play. He just stayed close to Lily. Sometimes Emma would wake up to the faint sound of his low growl echoing through the baby monitor. It wasn't loud or threatening. It was cautious, like a guardian watching the darkness, waiting for something no one else could see. A few days later, Jake began to feel uneasy. He'd catch Toby staring at the same corner of the nursery wall, his small body tense, ears twitching at sounds only he could hear. Sometimes his fur would rise and he'd let out a deep warning rumble that made Jake's stomach tighten. "Maybe he's chasing shadows," Emma joked one night, snapping a picture for fun. But later, when the house went quiet, Toby barked sharply, a sound so sudden it jolted them both awake. They watched through the baby monitor as Toby stood rigid beside Lily's crib, his eyes fixed on the floor. Emma hurried in to calm him, whispering softly, but he wouldn't relax. His gaze never left the space beneath the crib. That night, Jake decided to leave the baby monitor recording. Something about Toby's behavior didn't feel like play anymore. It felt like a warning. It was just past midnight when Toby's sharp barking shattered the silence. The baby monitor crackled to life, frantic movement, claws scraping against the wooden floor. Jake bolted upright, heart racing. "Something's wrong," he muttered, already sprinting toward the nursery. When he burst through the door, Toby was there, standing stiff beside Lily's crib, teeth bared, eyes locked on the floorboards. Emma rushed in behind him, snatching Lily into her arms. The baby whimpered, sensing the tension thick in the air. Then came the sound, faint, almost hidden beneath the hum of the night. A slow, unmistakable hiss. Jake froze, the flashlight trembling in his hand. He crouched down and lifted the crib carefully. What he saw made his blood run cold. A snake, long and dark, coiled tightly in the shadows. "Emma, get back," he shouted. Before either of them could move, Toby lunged forward. His tiny body collided with the snake as it struck, jaws snapping. Toby yelped in pain but didn't back down. He barked, bit, and thrashed until the snake stopped moving. Silence. Emma fell to her knees, clutching Lily close as tears streamed down her face. Jake stared at the little puppy, chest rising weakly, eyes half open, realizing in horror and awe that Toby had just saved their daughter's life. Jake dropped to his knees beside Toby. The tiny puppy lay trembling, his breathing shallow, a small puncture wound visible on his paw. "He's been bitten," Emma cried, her voice breaking. Jake scooped Toby into his arms, wrapping him in a towel as they rushed for the car. The night blurred past in flashing streetlights and desperate prayers. Emma held Lily tight in the back seat, whispering through tears. "He saved her, Jake. He saved our baby." At the 24-hour vet clinic, they burst through the doors. The vet, a calm woman with tired eyes, immediately took Toby from Jake's shaking hands. "We'll do everything we can," she said firmly. Minutes felt like hours. The waiting room was silent except for the faint hum of machines and Emma's quiet sobs. Finally, the vet returned, her voice steady but gentle. He's strong. We've given him anti-venom. The next few hours are critical. Jake nodded, barely holding back tears. Come on, buddy, he whispered under his breath. You've already been so brave. Just hang on. When morning came, the vet called Emma and Jake into her office. Toby was stable but weak, curled up under a blanket. The vet's voice was soft, her eyes kind. You should know, she said quietly. Your puppy didn't just react last night. He's been aware of danger for days. Emma frowned, confused. The vet continued. German shepherds have strong instincts. He likely sensed the snake's scent long before you ever knew it was there. That's why he refused to leave your baby's room. Emma's hand flew to her mouth, tears welling up. Jake looked through the glass at Toby's tiny body rising and falling. All those nights, the growls, the sleepless hours, they weren't stubbornness. Toby had been protecting Lily all along, he'd known, and he never gave up. The next morning, Toby's eyes fluttered open. His breathing was shallow but steady. When Emma leaned over the table, his tail gave a faint wag, weak but full of life. The vet smiled gently. He's a fighter. He made it through the night. Emma burst into tears, whispering a shaky thank you as Jake exhaled the breath he didn't know he'd been holding. 2 days later, Toby finally came home. His steps were slow, his body still healing, but his spirit was unbroken. The moment he entered the nursery, he went straight to Lily's crib and lay down beside it, just like before. Lily giggled softly, crawling toward him. She reached out her tiny hand and touched his paw. Toby licked her fingers gently, eyes warm and loyal. Jake whispered, voice trembling, He's not just our dog, he's our guardian, and Emma nodded through her tears. Our little hero. That night, Toby curled up beside Lily's crib once again. But this time the house was calm. No growls, no tension, only peace. The danger was gone, yet his devotion remained. His eyes stayed fixed on the sleeping baby as if promising she would always be safe. Emma stood at the doorway, tears glistening as Jake wrapped an arm around her. He's watching over her, she whispered. Sometimes the purest love doesn't need words. It protects, it sacrifices, and it stays even when no one's watching. That night, they realized something profound. Even the smallest heart can hold the greatest courage. If Toby's story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss another true story of courage, love, and loyalty, because somewhere out there, another little hero like Toby is waiting, ready to prove that even the smallest heart can protect the ones it loves most.